I sat in the noisy conference room, my heart beating so fast it hurt. My manager, Ms. Rowan, slid a paper across the table like she was handing me a punishment. "Patricia," she said sharply, "your work has become a problem." Everyone turned to look at me. My face grew hot. My hands shook under the table. Then she clicked to a slide, my slide, but changed. The numbers were wrong. The labels were messy. It looked like something I would never create. My stomach dropped. She had changed my work to embarrass me. I opened my mouth to defend myself, but she cut me off. "Let me finish," she said loudly. The director stared at me like I was a child who failed a simple assignment. I felt anger rising in my chest, but I held it in. "What exactly are you accusing me of?" I finally asked. She smiled, a slow, cold smile. "Failure," she said. Repeated failure. The room fell silent. My career felt like it was slipping from my hands. But she didn't know something important. When people push me to the ground, I rise even stronger. And this time, I would rise by uncovering something she never wanted the world to see. My name is Patricia Cole, 32 years old, Senior Data Analyst at Briar Tech Solutions. I came from a small Lagos apartment where every day was a struggle. My mother worked 2 jobs. My father left before I was old enough to remember his voice. Growing up taught me one thing. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. So I worked hard. I studied harder. And I fought my way into a good job. But when Ms. Rowan joined the company 8 months ago, everything changed. She walked in like she was a queen and we were her servants. People loved her confidence, her style, her perfect speeches. But with me, she was different. She made small comments that felt like insults. She forgot to include me in meetings I used to lead. She took credit for my ideas. Then she began acting like I didn't exist. And now she had embarrassed me in front of the directors. One question kept repeating in my mind. Why is she doing this to me? What did I ever do to her? Something wasn't right. And soon, I would see how dark the truth really was. After the meeting, my email notifications exploded. Some coworkers sent, "Are you okay?" messages. Others sent confused ones like, "What happened?" But one email made my blood freeze. It was from MS. Rowan, sent a week earlier. It said I didn't turn in an important file. But I had. I searched my sent folder. There it was, sent, delivered, time-stamped. My eyes narrowed. She lied. I checked the shared drive. The file she claimed I forgot was gone. Deleted. I clicked on the folder history. My heart jumped. Someone opened and changed my documents late at night. The username, Rowan M. She wasn't just being mean. She wasn't stressed. She wasn't confused. She was destroying my work on purpose. But why? Why would a manager risk so much just to make me look bad? There had to be something big she was hiding. Something she didn't want anyone to question. I sat back in my chair and whispered to myself. If she wants war, then she just started one. The next day, I was in the lunchroom when a coworker looked around, leaned close, and whispered. "You know your manager has a weird history, right?" I frowned. "What do you mean?" They lowered their voice. "Some people say she lies about her background." My eyebrows shot up. What part? Her degree. Her experience. No one really knows where she came from. I stared at them, confused. That didn't make sense. She always talked about her amazing university, her top grades, her international program. But now that I thought about it, every time someone asked her for details, she dodged the question. The coworker shrugged. People think she's hiding something. Something big. My heart thumped harder. A manager that polished. That strict. That proud of her education. Wouldn't lie about her degree, right? Would she? Still, the rumor stuck in my mind like glue. When someone fights too hard to push you down, it's usually because they don't want you to rise close to the truth. And now I had my first clue. Her past wasn't as perfect as she made it sound. That night, curiosity burned stronger than fear. I opened my laptop and searched for her university. St. Avondale International University. LinkedIn said she earned a master's degree there. But Google said something different. Something shocking. There was no such university. Not in Nigeria. Not in America. Not in Europe. Nowhere. I tried different spellings. Nothing. Then I saw a warning on a website. St. Avondale International University, flagged for selling fake online degrees. I froze. My hands shook over the keyboard. Rowan. The woman humiliating me. The woman changing my files. The woman calling me a failure. Might be holding a degree she bought, not earned. Hundreds of people had reported paying money to get instant diplomas. No classes. No exams. Just cash. I leaned back, breath shaky. This was bigger than office drama. This was fraud. A manager with a fake degree could destroy an entire company. She would lose everything, her job, her reputation, her career. A slow smile crept onto my face. For the first time, I felt hope. She thought I was powerless. But now I held the truth. And the truth was a weapon. I sat at my desk that night long after everyone else went home. My screen glowed in the dark office, and the only sound was the air conditioner humming above me. My heart kept beating fast. I knew I was stepping into dangerous territory, but I also knew I needed proof. Real proof. I opened Ms. Rowan's staff file on the company system. It wasn't easy. She had locked almost every section. But the HR folder kept basic information open. I clicked it. Her degree was listed there again, St. Avondale International University. Same school. Same major. Same year. I typed the school's name into the search bar again. This time I used quotation marks. Only one website appeared. It looked cheap, like someone built it in a hurry. No student photos. No campus pictures. No real information. Just a home page with bright colors and bold promises about fast-track degrees. My stomach tightened. I clicked accreditation. The link went nowhere. I leaned back in my chair, whispering to myself. She didn't earn this degree. She bought it. But something else bothered me. If this was true, how did she get hired as a manager? Someone, somewhere, had to know. And that meant there was more to uncover. The next morning, I walked into HR pretending to be confused, not angry. I smiled politely. Hi, I just wanted to confirm some details about Ms. Rowan's background, I said. The HR officer, a tired-looking man named Daniel, looked up. Why? I'm updating some training documents, I lied. I want to make sure everything is correct. He frowned but pulled up her file. What do you need? I pointed at her degree. Do we have a copy of her certificate? At first, he nodded. We should. Then he checked. His eyebrows slowly pulled together. That's strange, he whispered. What? I asked softly. He leaned closer. There's no certificate. No transcripts. Just this entry. He tapped the screen. The entry only had her school name, nothing else. I don't know how this passed our hiring process, he muttered. My heart jumped. If HR never saw her documents, how did she get the job? I kept my voice calm. Maybe it was lost? He shook his head. No. Protocol says we can't hire without proof. I swallowed. So how did she? He stopped me with a look that said don't ask that here. My skin prickled. Something was very, very wrong. That night, I opened my laptop again at home. I felt like a detective now, walking through shadows. I checked old emails from the day Ms. Rowan was hired. Then I found something strange. A forwarded message from a senior director named Mr. Hughes. Subject, Fast Track Approval, Candidate, Rowan. I clicked it. The whole email chain showed that her hiring process had been rushed. No interviews. No reference checks. No certificate copies. Just one short line from him. She's a personal recommendation. Move her through quickly. My mouth dropped open. Why would a director force HR to push someone through without checking anything? It didn't make sense. Unless he was involved too. Maybe he didn't know her degree was fake. Or maybe he didn't care. I kept scrolling down the thread. At the bottom was a small attachment, a PDF. I opened it. It was a scanned degree certificate. But the fonts didn't match. The seal looked blurry. And the date format was wrong for the country it claimed to be from. It was fake. Obviously fake. And it had been accepted anyway. That was the moment I whispered to myself. This goes deeper than I thought. The next morning, I walked into work with shaky hands but a steady heart. I knew Ms. Rowan was dangerous. I knew she wanted me gone. But I didn't know she was already planning her next move. As soon as I sat down, she appeared beside my desk. Her smile was too sweet. Too fake. Patricia, can you step into my office? My stomach dropped. She closed the door behind us. I reviewed your latest report, she said, placing a printed document on the desk. There are major errors. I blinked. I had checked that report 10 times. What errors? She pointed to numbers I never wrote. Sentences I never typed. Charts I never created. My heart pounded. She had changed my work again. These mistakes are serious, she said in a low voice. I'll have to escalate this. I swallowed hard. This isn't my version. She tilted her head. Are you saying I falsified it? She wanted me angry. She wanted me loud. She wanted me to break professionalism so she could fire me. But I breathed in slowly. No, I said. I'm saying I saved the original file. And I'll send it to HR now. Her smile vanished. Her eyes narrowed. For the first time. She looked afraid. I stepped out of her office before she could say a word. My heart was slamming so hard I could feel it in my throat. I walked straight to my desk and hit send on an email to HR with the subject, original report attached, please compare. Within minutes, I saw her storm out of her office. She walked fast, heels hitting the floor like gunshots. People stared. She didn't care. Patricia, in my office. Now. Her voice was tight, shaky. Good. I followed her inside calmly. She closed the door and hissed, delete that email. No. You don't understand what you're doing. Oh, I do, I said quietly. For weeks you've been changing my work behind my back. Now HR is about to see the truth. Her face twisted. You're making a mistake. I held her gaze. The only mistake was you thinking you could ruin my career without consequences. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she whispered something I wasn't ready for. If I go down, you're going down with me. I frowned. What does that mean? But she didn't answer. She just stared ahead, breathing hard. That was the first time I realized. She wasn't just scared. She was hiding something much bigger than a fake degree. Absolutely, Here are chapters 11 to 25, all written in grade 7 English, 180 to 220 words each, highly engaging, and smooth for YouTube narration. I sat alone in the office break room, staring at my cold cup of tea, when my computer pinged. A new email. It was from a woman named Dr. Kendra Lewis, someone I didn't know. Subject: regarding your question about St. Avondale University. My heart jumped. I opened it fast. Hello Patricia, it began. You asked if St. Avondale International University has real alumni. The answer is no. It was shut down 5 years ago. All degrees issued were fake. Fake. The word hit me like a punch. The email continued. If someone currently claims to have a degree from this institution, they have knowingly presented false credentials. I covered my mouth. The air felt thin. This was proof. Actual proof. But as I scrolled further, something else made my stomach twist. My team and I are collecting information about fraudulent degrees used in major companies. If you know someone who may be involved, please contact us. So not only was Rowan lying, she was lying in a way that could destroy the whole company's credibility. I read the email 3 times. Then I whispered into the quiet room. She's finished. But I knew I had to be careful. A woman like Rowan wouldn't go down quietly. And the next step I took could blow up everything. The next morning, I tried to act normal, but my nerves buzzed. As I walked to my desk, Rowan stepped out of nowhere, blocking my path. Patricia, she said coldly, I need to speak with you. Her tone made my skin crawl. She led me into a small meeting room and shut the door. Her eyes sharpened into narrow slits. I've noticed you've been digging. My heart slammed against my ribs. What do you mean? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She leaned closer. Don't play dumb. I see everything. Every file you open. Every folder you touch. Every search. My stomach dropped. She must have checked the access logs. She smiled, a thin, cruel smirk. I don't know what you think you're going to find, she whispered, but you need to stop before you make a mistake you can't undo. For a second, fear wrapped around my chest. But then I reminded myself, she was the one with the fake degree, not me. I forced my shoulders back. I'm only doing my job, I said. She stared at me long and hard, her jaw ticking. Then she stepped closer and whispered, Be careful, Patricia. Curiosity is dangerous. She walked out. I stood frozen. Now I knew, she was scared. And fear makes people dangerous. That night, I stayed late, pretending to finish reports. The office was quiet, lights humming softly above me. I knew Rowan had something to hide, and if she was watching my normal activity, I needed to look somewhere she wouldn't expect. So I checked the company's old archived server, a place most employees forgot even existed. After 20 minutes of searching, I found a folder labeled HR_verification_old. My pulse raced. Inside were scanned documents from years ago, transcripts, background checks, verified degrees. Then I saw it. A file with Rowan's name. I clicked it. It was empty. Completely blank. My breath caught. Everyone else had a file full of documents. Rowan's folder had only a single line. Document missing. Resubmission required. And a date from 6 years ago. So HR asked her to resubmit her proof, and she never did. Instead, she must have forged whatever she gave them later. HR didn't know. Leadership didn't know. No one knew. Except me. I leaned back in my chair, heart pounding. I now had 2 pieces. 1, the university didn't exist. 2. Her HR file was missing real proof. I felt a spark of power in my chest. But I needed one last thing, something undeniable. The next day, Rowan left work early, claiming a meeting. But something felt off. So I made a choice I never imagined I'd make. I followed her. I stayed several steps behind, heart thudding hard as we walked down the busy street. She turned into a small print shop. My eyebrows pulled together. Why would she come here? I waited outside, pretending to scroll my phone, watching through the window. Rowan handed the shopkeeper a USB drive. He connected it to his computer. And my blood froze. On his screen appeared a certificate template, the same style used for degrees. She was printing something. Something important. Something fake. 10 minutes later, she walked out holding a sealed envelope. She tucked it into her bag like it was treasure. I ducked behind a parked car. When she was gone, I ran inside. "Excuse me," I said to the shopkeeper. "I think my boss left something behind." "What was she printing?" He shrugged. "Some kind of diploma. She brings templates sometimes." My breath whooshed out of me. So this wasn't the first time. She printed fake documents regularly. Now I had proof she was still forging things. This was the final piece. I knew I had everything I needed, but dumping it on HR wouldn't be enough. Rowan was powerful. Charming. Manipulative. She could twist any situation to look innocent. I needed a plan that would expose her without giving her room to escape. So I made a list. Step 1, gather all evidence neatly. Step 2, send it anonymously to HR. Step 3, make sure leadership saw it before she could hide or edit anything. Step 4, let the truth explode in front of everyone, just like she tried to do to me. But I added a 5th step. Step 5, protect myself at all costs. I spent the whole evening organizing screenshots, emails, server logs, and notes. Then I drafted a message with no name, no signature. This manager may be using fake credentials and forging documents. Please verify her degree and HR file immediately. I attached the evidence, saved it all to a USB, and slipped it into my bag. Tomorrow was the day everything would begin. For the first time in months, I slept peacefully. Because now, I wasn't the one afraid. Rowan was. I walked into work early, my stomach full of nerves and excitement. At 9:13 a.m., HR sent out an email. Mandatory credential review for department heads. Effective immediately. I almost gasped. They moved fast. From my desk, I watched Rowan march toward HR, heels clicking sharply like angry little hammers. She disappeared into the office. 10 minutes passed. 20. 30. Then a voice echoed through the hallway, loud, sharp, furious. I already submitted my documents. It was Rowan. Everyone turned. HR's door swung open, and she stormed out, face red, jaw tight. Her eyes scanned the room. For a moment, they locked on me. I froze. She stared so long, I wondered if she knew it was me. But then she looked away, muttering under her breath. I watched her rush into her office and slam the door. My heart raced. HR had clearly found something wrong. This was only the beginning. Rowan was shaking now, not me. And that shift in power felt satisfying. The next day, I arrived to see a long, serious email from the CEO. Emergency leadership meeting today at 3 p.m. Attendance required. The whole office buzzed. People whispered in corners. Supervisors paced the hallways. Something big was happening. At 2:59 p.m., Rowan marched toward the meeting room, her chin high but her steps shaky. I wasn't invited, of course. But I sat close enough to hear muffled voices through the frosted glass walls. The CEO spoke first. "This situation is extremely serious, Ms. Rowan." I leaned closer. Then another voice, calmer, "We contacted the educational board. There is no record of your degree. Silence. Then Rowan tried to speak, her voice cracking. That's impossible. I submitted everything. A director cut her off. The documents you submitted yesterday were examined. They were not authentic. I covered my mouth. Quiet gasps filled the room. A chair scraped loudly across the floor. Then Rowan snapped. Someone is framing me. Her voice shook with panic. The CEO said firmly, we will continue this tomorrow. You are suspended until we finish the investigation. Suspended. The word echoed in my mind. She stumbled out of the room. Eyes wild. For the first time, she looked truly afraid. The next morning, Rowan returned even though she was suspended. She marched straight to HR, waving a stack of papers. I found the original documents, she yelled. HR shut the door, but everyone could still hear the argument through the walls. Ms. Rowan, these are identical to the forged copies. They're not fake. Someone is sabotaging me. Her voice was desperate now. I sat at my desk, pretending to work while my heart beat fast. She pushed out of HR's office and pointed at random employees. Which one of you did this? Who is trying to destroy me? People looked down. Others backed away. For once, no one defended her. She ran into her office and slammed the door so hard the glass shook. For an hour, she stayed inside. Then she posted something strange on the company Slack. To whoever is doing this, I know you. And you will pay. Coworkers exchanged confused looks. Some asked if she was okay. No one got a reply. She was losing control fast, and everyone could see it. But she still had no idea the truth came from me. And I needed to keep it that way, until the final strike. At lunchtime, my phone buzzed. The number looked familiar. It was the university investigator, Dr. Lewis. Patricia, she said, we reached out to Briartech's CEO directly. He confirmed that Ms. Rowan presented the same fake degree when she was hired. My stomach flipped. That means, Dr. Lewis continued, your company hired a manager based on fraudulent documents. This is a legal issue now. Legal. The word sent shivers down my arms. Thank you for your help, she added. Be prepared, your workplace is about to change very fast. The call ended. I sat frozen for a moment, letting it sink in. Then, out of nowhere, a senior client called our office. I need to speak to Rowan, he said. She's unavailable, I answered. The client sighed. She promised me a presentation today. But the draft she sent looked like someone with no business training wrote it. I swallowed a laugh. Is there anything I can help you with instead? There was a long pause. You did the last project, right? Yes. Then I want you. Not her. My chest warmed. For the first time in months, someone chose me. Things were shifting. Fast. At 4 p.m., HR sent me a message. Patricia, please come to our office. My heart thudded. Was this it? Had they discovered the anonymous report came from me? I walked in slowly. 2 HR managers sat at the table, serious but calm. Patricia, the first one said, we want to ask about your experience working with Ms. Rowan. My chest tightened. I didn't want to lie, but I didn't want them to know I was behind everything. So I chose my words carefully. She often changed my work without telling me, I said. Sometimes she deleted important files. I thought maybe I was making mistakes, but now. I'm not sure. The HR manager nodded. You're not the only one who said that. My eyes widened. So others. Yes. Multiple employees came forward today. I let out a slow breath. It wasn't just me. I wasn't alone. The second HR manager leaned forward. We also want to thank you for your professionalism these past weeks. You handled yourself well. I didn't know what to say. Then she added softly. You may want to stay close tomorrow. Things will come to light. I walked out shaking. The storm was coming. The next morning, the entire office was called into the large conference room. Everyone looked nervous. I took a seat in the back. The CEO walked in, face stern. Thank you for coming, he began. This concerns a very serious issue. Rowan entered next, escorted by HR. Her face was pale. Her hands shook. She looked nothing like the powerful manager who once terrorized us. The CEO cleared his throat. After a full investigation, we discovered that the credentials Ms. Rowan used when applying for her position were fraudulent. A loud gasp spread across the room. Rowan's eyes filled with tears. That's not true, she cried. I have the degree. Someone is framing me. But the CEO shook his head. We verified with the educational board. The institution you claim to attend does not exist. The documents you submitted were fakes. Rowan broke. She sank into a chair, covering her face. People stared in shock. Some whispered. Some shook their heads slowly. Then the CEO said the words she feared most. You are terminated, effective immediately. Security stepped forward. Rowan didn't fight. She just cried quietly as they walked her out. It was over. Truly over. After Rowan was removed, the office felt completely different. Lighter. Quieter. Safer. People stopped whispering. Meetings felt calmer. Even the air seemed easier to breathe. But something unexpected happened too. Coworkers started coming to my desk. Patricia, thank you for staying strong. You didn't deserve what she did. We're glad you're still here. Every kind word softened the months of stress I carried. Leadership also stepped in quickly. An email went out about a new transparency policy, promising better checks, better HR processes, and real support for employees. It felt like the whole company woke up. At lunch, some coworkers sat with me who had never spoken to me before. We all saw how she treated you, one said. We just didn't know how bad it was. I smiled weakly. Another added, you're tougher than you look. Maybe I was. Maybe surviving someone like Rowan proved I was stronger than I ever realized. Still, there was one thing left. And I didn't know it was coming. 2 days after Rowan's firing, I got an email from the CEO's assistant. Patricia, the CEO would like to meet with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. My heart jumped. What now? The next morning, I walked into the large glass-walled office feeling nervous. The CEO stood when I entered. Patricia, he said warmly, thank you for coming. He motioned for me to sit. I want to personally apologize for what you went through, he began. No employee should ever face sabotage or mistreatment like that. I nodded quietly. He continued, we reviewed your work. Your past reports, your presentations, everything Rowan took credit for. The truth is clear. He leaned forward. You've been carrying this department. My breath caught. I'm not saying this lightly, he added. We need someone dependable. Someone strong. Someone who doesn't crumble when things get hard. He smiled. Patricia, we'd like you to step in as the acting manager. I stared at him, stunned. Me? After everything? My voice shook. I'd be honored. The CEO nodded. You earned this. And for the first time, I believed it. The next week, the company held a meeting to introduce the new manager. I stood in the hallway, nerves fluttering in my stomach. Coworkers smiled as they passed. You'll do great. You deserve this. When the meeting started, the CEO spoke first. As you know, We recently made a leadership change, he said. Today, we're proud to announce our new department manager. My heart raced. Please welcome Patricia Cole. Applause broke out. Real applause. Not polite clapping, genuine support. I stepped forward, cheeks warm, hands shaking. Thank you, I said into the mic. I know the past few months have been difficult for everyone. But I promise we're moving into a new chapter, one built on honesty, teamwork, and respect. People nodded. Some even cheered. I looked around the room and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Belonging. When the meeting ended, my email flooded with messages. Congrats. You'll make a great leader. I'm so happy for you. I breathed in deep. The pain of everything Rowan did slowly melted away. Because now, I was the one standing tall. And nobody could take that from me. A week later, when everything finally felt peaceful, I received an unexpected email. It was from Rowan. My stomach tightened as I opened it. You think you won, she wrote. But people like you never stay on top for long. Enjoy your little spotlight. I read it twice. Then I did something I never expected. I laughed. A soft, tired laugh, but a real one. Because her words didn't scare me anymore. They didn't even sting. They were proof of one thing. She was gone. And I was still here. I blocked her email and leaned back in my chair. Sunlight streamed through the office windows. My office windows. I looked over the team, my team, working calmly, smiling more, breathing easier. This was what I fought for. Not a title. Not power. But peace. Respect. Truth. And no fake degree, no forged certificate, no desperate manager could ever take that away again. I opened a new document on my computer. Title, New Department Goals. Then I whispered to myself. This is my beginning.